Oh yeah, that one. So I've always been super into skateboarding. Like that was my first love. You know, that was something that I would just get up in the morning when I was 13 years old and just go out and skate with my friends all day. I'd hit skate parks, I'd go skate the streets, and that was the first hobby, I guess you could call it, that I fell in love with, the first sport. And for me, that branched off into something completely different. You know, I was riding from spot to spot with my friends, and we would be, you know, taking videos of each other, and I always tell myself, oh, I need to get myself a camera so I can film my friends skating. So I got myself my little Rebel T3i, and I got myself a Rokin on fisheye, and I was like, oh, this is the sickest thing in the world. I love this. And you know, I started off by just taking videos of my friends and I, and we had all these cool clips, but I didn't even realize that I could take photos like with it. So eventually it turned into us like going from spot to spot, and instead of just going there to skate, like I would go there to take photos of my friends skating. And I started really loving that. That was super cool to me. But I realized after that that I could take it a step further. You know, I grew up and I've always just loved the street culture. You know, I love the vibe that I get from it. But I grew up with that whole idea that like I have to stick to this or stick to that. And then photography and skateboarding was just another way for me to express myself without having to put myself into a box. So I started taking photos of everything. It went from, you know, just street portraits of skateboarders to just street portraits. And now it was like my friends and I were just taking photos of each other. We're not just taking photos of each other skating, it's like what we look like that day, just without the board, you know? And then we would travel from spot to spot, and sometimes along the way we would see things like what we're in right now. Like we'd see an abandoned building, and we'd be like, oh, that's super cool. But at the time I was too afraid to even to go in there. I was like, I don't want to get my camera stolen, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I started doing that maybe 2.5 years ago, and I fell in love with it. It's just super cool that I'm able to see something that nobody else can see and allow myself to shoot it in a way that nobody else is ever gonna see. You know, that spot is there, and people pass by it every day and they wouldn't dare go in there because they'd be too afraid or too intimidated, or maybe just not, you know, inspired to do it. But I felt inspired to do it, and I think that's a big part of what photography is about to me, is inspiration. Because, you know, I've always been inspired to photograph things since I discovered it, and photography's taught me a lot about inspiration and inspired me a lot to photograph at the same time. You know, they've worked hand in hand. So it just shows a bigger picture, in my personal opinion. I just feel like there's not any other way that I could see myself expressing myself in the same way. There's nothing else that I could do. Skateboarding's awesome. It's always going to be a part of my life, but I'm glad that it took me to a point where I was able to find something even bigger to express myself. Because now I can go have fun skating, and if that doesn't work out, I just go take photos of my friends, and you know, it's just as fun, if not more liberating. So I think that's kind of how they tie hand in hand for me. Okay, so ultimately what I want to do with this is I want to use this money in order to fund anything from as small as getting me a new camera body, which I know you can't really tell from that far, but it is falling apart. Like the glue's coming off, battery grip slipping. There's way too many photos that are on this camera, and I know it's gonna break soon. I don't want to be without photography. That's the only thing I've ever really been able to use to express myself the way that I want to. So anything from as small as that, or anything to as big as a trip for my friends and I. I've always really wanted to go to California and, you know, see where the mountains meet the ocean. That's just a beautiful place. It has everything out there. It has skate parks. It has all the spots for photography. I have a lot of friends that live out there. It would just be incredible if I was able to have that opportunity to help not only go there to see the things that I've been wanting to see, but to also expand the business side of it. You know, I can meet other photographers out there and just have a little bit of rapport so that, you know, anything comes down across the line, I have a hookup. I have something else that I can, you know, use for my passion. I just want people to see my work. I want to talk to people about why it's important to me, where I come from, and just show them that this is my passion. This is what I do, and this is who I am.